You've been told that getting older means slowing down. That stiff hips, a sore lower back, and that awkward shuffle when you get out of a chair. That's just part of the deal after 50. I'm here to tell you that's completely wrong, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to prove it. Stop right there. Before you scroll past, I want you to do one thing. Stand up and try to touch your toes. Can't do it? Feel that pull, that tightness, that stiffness deep in your hips and lower back? That's not old age. That's a problem with a solution. And I'm going to hand it to you completely free right now. Welcome back. If you're new here, this channel is all about helping you move better, live stronger, and feel younger, no matter what age you are. I've worked with hundreds of men and women over 50, and the single biggest complaint I hear, more than sore knees, more than bad backs, more than anything else, is tight, painful, uncooperative hips. And honestly, it makes total sense. After decades of sitting at desks, driving cars, and living in the modern sedentary world, our hip flexors shorten, our glutes go quiet, and our range of motion quietly disappears, almost without us noticing. Until one day you bend down to pick something up, and your body reminds you very loudly that something has changed. But here's the truth nobody tells you. The hip joint responds beautifully to the right kind of movement, at any age, at any starting point. You are not too far gone. You are not too old. And today we are going to prove that together. Before we jump in, I want you to understand something important. The reason so many people over 50 struggle with hip mobility has nothing to do with their age on paper. It has everything to do with the patterns their body has been living in for decades. Prolonged sitting, whether at work, in the car, or on the sofa, puts your hip flexors in a permanently shortened position. Over time, your nervous system starts to accept that shortened position as the new normal. Your glutes, which are supposed to be the most powerful muscles in your body, essentially forget how to fire properly because they are never asked to do their job. And when the glutes switch off and the hip flexors tighten up, everything downstream suffers. Your knees, your lower back, your balance, your posture, your confidence walking on uneven ground. The good news is that this is entirely reversible. The hip joint is one of the most adaptable joints in the human body. Give it the right stimulus, give it consistency, and it will reward you in ways that will genuinely surprise you. So let's get into these 5 exercises, and I want you to really pay attention because the cues matter here. The first exercise is the standing hip circle, and this one is your warm-up and your medicine all rolled into one. Stand with your feet hip-width apart, hands resting on your hips, and begin drawing large, slow circles with your hips, like you are trying to keep a hula hoop spinning in slow motion. Go 10 circles clockwise, then 10 counterclockwise. What you are doing here is lubricating the hip joint by encouraging the production of synovial fluid, the natural oil your body produces to keep joints moving smoothly and without friction. Most people over 50 have hips that have been locked into the same repetitive forward-backward pattern for years on end. This circular motion wakes up all the surrounding muscles, the hip flexors at the front, the glutes at the back, the adductors on the inside, the abductors on the outside, and it signals to your nervous system that full range of motion is safe and welcome. Do this every single morning before you even make your coffee. It takes less than 2 minutes, and it will genuinely transform how your entire day feels from the very first step you take out of bed. The second exercise is the supine hip rotation, sometimes called the windshield wiper, and this one is done lying on your back, so it is completely low impact and accessible to everyone. Lie down with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor about hip-width apart, arms relaxed at your sides. Now slowly let both knees fall together to the right, hold for 2 seconds, then bring them back to center and let them fall to the left. That is 1 rep. Do 10 to 15 on each side and move slowly and with intention. This exercise is a gem for people dealing with lower back tightness, because here is something most people do not realize. What feels like a back problem is very often a hip problem. The deep hip external rotators, muscles like the piriformis that sit deep underneath your glute, get tight and compressed from prolonged sitting, and they refer pain directly into the lower back and even down the leg. This gentle rotation releases those deep muscles without placing any strain on your spine whatsoever. If you feel a deep, satisfying stretch through your outer hip or glute area during this movement, you are hitting exactly the right spot. If your range of motion is very limited at first, that is perfectly normal and nothing to be concerned about. Go only as far as is comfortable and trust that with consistency, that range of motion will grow week by week. The third exercise is one I personally love for its beautiful simplicity. It is the 90-90 hip stretch. Sit on the floor and position one leg in front of you, bent at a 90-degree angle, shin parallel to the wall in front of you, with the other leg out to the side, also bent at 90 degrees, shin pointing behind you, like two L shapes facing different directions. Sit tall through your spine and feel the gentle stretch through the front hip, then slowly hinge forward over the front leg to deepen it. Hold for 30 seconds, then switch sides and repeat. This position is special because it simultaneously addresses your internal and external hip rotators at the same time. You are getting both sides of the hip joint working in one position, which is incredibly efficient. Now, some of you watching may find it difficult to get down to the floor, and I want you to know that is completely fine. You can do a very effective modified version of this exercise seated in a chair by simply crossing one ankle over the opposite knee and leaning your torso gently forward. You will still feel a powerful stretch through the outer hip and glute without needing to get on the ground at all. The most important coaching cue for this exercise, whether on the floor or in a chair, is to keep your spine long and upright. Do not round your back or collapse forward from the shoulders. Sit tall, breathe slowly and deeply, and let the hip open on its own with each exhale. The fourth exercise is the hip flexor lunge stretch, and I want to be very direct with you. This is arguably the single most important exercise on this entire list for anyone over 50, and it is the one most people skip because it looks too simple. Take a kneeling position with one knee resting on the floor and the opposite foot planted firmly forward, like a knight taking a knee. Now here is the key cue that most people miss. Before you lean forward, gently tuck your pelvis by pulling your tailbone down toward the floor. That posterior tilt is everything. It is what actually puts the hip flexor on stretch. Once you have that tuck, shift your weight slowly forward until you feel a deep, meaningful stretch through the very front of the hip on the kneeling side. Hold for 30 to 45 seconds, breathe through it, then switch legs and repeat. If kneeling is uncomfortable on your knee, simply place a folded towel or a small pillow underneath it. Here is why this exercise is so critical and why I cannot overstate its importance. The primary hip flexor muscle, called the psoas, does not just cross the hip joint. It physically attaches to your lumbar vertebrae, the bones of your lower spine. When it is chronically shortened from hours and hours of sitting every single day, it pulls your lower back into an exaggerated forward curve, compresses the lumbar discs, tilts the pelvis forward, and creates a chain reaction of pain and dysfunction that travels from your hips all the way up through your entire spine. Releasing this muscle consistently is not optional if you want to move without pain. People have told me this one stretch alone changed their lives, and I believe it completely. The fifth and final exercise is the glute bridge, and I know what some of you are thinking. That's a strength exercise, not a mobility exercise. Stay with me, because this distinction matters. Lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, arms relaxed at your sides. Press firmly through your heels, squeeze your glutes deliberately and hard, and lift your hips up toward the ceiling until your body forms a straight diagonal line from your shoulders all the way to your knees. Hold at the top for a full 2 seconds while continuing to squeeze the glutes, then slowly and with control lower back down. Do 15 repetitions at a smooth, unhurried pace. Here is why this belongs on a mobility list. Your glutes and your hip flexors are in a constant tug of war around your pelvis. When the glutes are weak and underactive, which they almost always are in people over 50 who sit a lot, the hip flexors become dominant, pull the pelvis forward, and lock up your range of motion from the front. No amount of stretching will fix a mobility problem that is being driven by a muscle imbalance. You have to strengthen the opposing side. By activating and strengthening the glutes through this exercise, you restore the muscular balance around the hip joint, and suddenly the mobility work you have been doing actually has the structural support it needs to stick. As a bonus, strong glutes protect your knees, reduce lower back stress dramatically, and improve your balance and stability in ways that will be immediately noticeable in your daily life. Now, here is exactly what I want you to do with everything you just learned. These 5 exercises together take roughly 15 minutes to complete. If you commit to doing them 3 to 4 times a week, or even daily if you can, you will feel a genuine, measurable difference within 4 to 6 weeks. Less stiffness when you get out of bed in the morning, more ease walking up and down stairs, smoother movement getting in and out of the car, more confidence on uneven ground, less aching through your lower back at the end of the day. These are not small things. These are the things that determine the quality of your daily life. Your hips are not broken. They are not worn out beyond repair. They have simply been waiting for the right movement, the right attention, and a little consistency from you. You can give them that starting today, starting right now. If this video helped you, please hit the like button. It genuinely helps more people who need this information find it, and that is the whole reason I make these videos. If you have any questions about these exercises, or there is something specific you want me to cover in a future video, drop it in the comments below. I read every single one, and I truly love hearing from this community. If you are not subscribed yet, now is a great time. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a new video. I release new content every week focused entirely on helping you move better and feel stronger at every age. I will see you in the next one. Keep moving, keep showing up, and always remember, your best years are absolutely still ahead of you.